Welcome back to Be-Bell Podcast and welcome to Minisodes. This is where we spend a little bit of time, and a very short time, just reflecting on the episodes from the last series. I want to know what you thought resonated with you, and mostly I'll be talking about what resonated with me. So I hope you enjoy them. Welcome to Be-Bell Minisodes. Listening back to episode 2, this is where I had to start taking notes because I love Paddy. I love Paddy because we could have a really open and honest conversation about our struggles with weight loss since we were children. He's super relatable. I know I said to him on the pod, I just think he has the best voice so I could listen to his podcast and watch him over and over. But I love that he talks about his journey in such an honest way. You know, weight to me is just something that's been part of my life. I have been on a diet, I suppose, I remember it being about 12 or 13. And at the time it was called the Cambridge diet. It was the milkshake diet. And I remember absolutely vomiting from a strawberry milkshake. I've never been able to eat or drink milkshakes ever again. Just even the thought process that I was putting myself through that at that age is daft to me. But I know why I was doing that. I was always a big kid. I know I've tried to blame my mother for my weight. And her answer was, well, you were always hungry. What did you want me to do? And look, I grew up with a sister who was tiny and we ate the same things. We just have a different makeup. And actually, sometimes my older sister would have more grief at school from being called awful names like anorexic and etc. And she'd get really upset than I would on the reverse. So although I've always been a larger size, I've never really struggled with it. As long as I feel healthy, I can move and I'm active, I'm always quite happy. And so when I'm at like a size 18, 20, I have to say I'm quite comfortable. I'm 5'7.5" and I don't hold weight in my face, in my arms, in my legs. It's all around my waist. But that, as you get older, really concerns me. And for me, weight loss is not about weight loss. It's about becoming more healthy. And obviously holding weight around your center is all visceral fat, and that's not good for your organs. So it's something that concerns me. And so actually this year in January, I decided to take action, I suppose, and I went to a clinic to talk about GLP-1 medication. And that's when I started following Paddy, because as I said earlier, it gives a really honest account of how to use or what these drugs have done for him. And I obviously investigated and researched before making my appointment. And when I went for that appointment, the first thing actually the doctor said was, you don't hold a lot of weight. And I said, I do actually, because I don't hold it sort of like in my face and my top half of my body. Initially, when people meet me, they can think that I'm smaller than I am, but I'm not. I'm heavy. And, I'm a size 20, 22 now. I'm 53 years of age. I need to shift it. So we started the GLP-1 journey. I started on Manjaro. And the one thing I have to say, and I've mentioned it on my socials before, is I couldn't get over the effects that it had to my brain. Very, very quickly, I could see a difference. And for me, that's what the important thing was. I really felt that my brain fog had gone, which I always put down to menopause anyway. I felt I was more productive. I was sleeping really, really well. But most importantly, I'm quite an anxious and quick fire person. I'm quite reactive. I felt a sense of calm that I have never felt ever before in my life. Someone's going to say, have you not tried drugs? No, I haven't tried drugs. But I honestly, I suppose GLP-1 is a drug, but I actually felt, this real sense of calm. And I noticed very quickly, although I tried to put myself in situations, I'm not the best eater. I tend to skip breakfast. I don't have lunch. So to me, that's called fasting. However, I've never lost any weight through fasting. And it made me make different choices. So occasionally I'd be on the road sometimes and I'd be like, I'll just grab a sandwich and a packet of potato and I'll eat it in the car as I'm driving to my next appointment. It didn't allow me to do that. I would search out what I could have, the alternatives. And I was really blown away by the change of my psyche. So I absolutely loved it. However, I did not lose a pound. And one thing we spoke about in the pod is A, this doesn't work for a third of people, and B, it's not right for some people. And one thing I would say is we tested it for some time with me. So when you start on a small dosage to see how your body will react. And normally people are on that around 4 weeks. I did that for 8 weeks just to double check that there was nothing going on. I was having some pain abdominally at the time. So during this time, I was very conscious that I didn't want to be affecting anything that could be going on in my body. So then we moved up a little level. I still didn't lose any weight. However, I wasn't gaining. And during menopause, I've just found that I've gained all the time, regardless of what I've done. And so just as we were about to move to the stage, the 10 milligrams, I actually got a CT and MRI, and I was told that I had a big gallstone in my gallbladder. Now, this has nothing to do with the GLP-1. It is a large stone. And actually, the symptoms of the stone that I didn't realize I've had for many years. And I actually thought I was having a heart attack. I thought my heart was bad. I've been in to see the heart specialist 3 times in 5 years. And actually those symptoms that I was getting, this stabbing pain into my chest and the kind of reflex, I suppose, is from the gallbladder. Anyway, I rang my doctor straight away when we found out about the gallstone, and he said, look, just to put your mind at rest, come off the GLP-1 until you have all of this fixed, and then we'll put you back on. So I am not on it at the moment. I haven't put on any weight. I've kept the same. I do eat a clean diet, but I will go back on it as soon as I can. And not even for weight loss, but for that brain piece, I absolutely loved it. And I can completely understand why I'm watching other podcasts and reading so much about how doctors are microdosing these GLP-1s, because I can understand it. For people that have addictions, etc., it would make complete sense. But a couple of things that me and Paddy talked about was that obviously he's a gym bunny. I'm a Pilates instructor. I've moved all my life. I've been a dance teacher. I was in every team at school. I've worked in gyms since 97. There's probably people watching this going, I never saw her in the gym. And you wouldn't often, to be honest, because I want to go home. But I have always been active. And that has never lost weight for me. It's always been about diet. But I'm definitely made a certain way. And so I am comfortable with that way, and I want people to understand that. I am confident in my body, but at present, I don't feel healthy. And that's super, super important to me. So I hope people understand where I'm coming from in that conversation. I do think for anybody that is concerned about their health, that they should go and speak to somebody, because I think these could really help you. But Paddy was amazing, and I would 100% say go follow. He's fantastic. Hi, and thank you for joining me for this week's episode of BeBell Podcast. If you have any thoughts, questions, or feedback for us, we always love for you to get involved. And you can find us on Instagram at BeBell_podcast. Don't forget, though, that if you want to watch these episodes, you can see them all on my YouTube channel, Sian Horn. And don't forget to follow and subscribe. The more people that follow and subscribe, the better it is for the podcast, the more that we can improve future and going forward. So with that being said, thank you so much for following BeBell, and I hope you enjoy these next episodes.